This is the first episode of Legacy Watch with your owner? That's weird. Host. Yeah, this is the first episode of Young Legacy Watch with your host Johnny Hines, co-founder of Young Legacy Collection, and I'm here with my brother from another Bpitts.
Do it. Meow, 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 meow. I need that on mine. Yeah, man. We are here to introduce ourselves. I'm asking you a question. So, who are you?
My name is Johnny Hines. Like I stated, I'm the co-founder of Young Legacy Collection. We started Young Legacy Collection in 2022. Be coming up on a year next month. But we like to say that we established this brand it was manifested since 1989. So for me, I am from Antioch, California. By way of San Francisco, California. For most of us that live in Antioch, we all commuted out here. A lot of us weren't born out here. So it has a lot of, I guess you can say, you have a lot of pride when you come from a certain place. But I've learned to make Antioch my home. Was for the most part raised in Antioch. Went to Deer Valley High School. And then I ended up going to Los Medanos College before I ended up heading out to Oregon for college. Played football out there, got my degree out there, had my daughter out there. So Oregon has a special spot in my heart. So shout out to people out in Medford, Oregon. And then I moved back 2018, picked up where I left off. All the people that was here when I left, mom, all the family, friends and everything. Then I got back out here. And we started this clothing brand. So, and I'm going to pass it over to my brother. Who are you? Where are you from? And tell us what you've been up to.
Short and sweet. I'm Brandon. I'm from Berkeley. Moved to Antioch. When did I move to Antioch? I think I was like 11, 12. Yeah. One of them. I went to Deer Valley also. Graduated. On time, by the way. Then I went to Laney, played a little football. Shout out to the Eagles.
Then you run track there too?
No, they only have a girl track team.
Oh, okay.
But I would have been on that team.
Yeah, definitely would. You could have been on the team still because you're a girl.
Okay. I don't know how to take that. Okay. Had a son. Then had another one, and another one, and another one. Then I got married. Then had another one. That put me at like 7. I only have 4 kids. But yeah, and then I started one clothing brand that was a complete dud. Then I started another one that was a complete dud.
I wouldn't call them complete duds.
Well, I mean, I got a lesson from it, but it was a dud.
What makes it a dud?
Well, the first one, the name actually was owned by Dwayne Wade. So that's a fucking dud. The second one, there was no purpose or meaning behind it. It just was a cool-ass name.
Which one, Purple Heart?
No, that's owned by Dwayne Wade.
Okay, so...
Please don't sue us.
Fifth brand?
Yeah. I just thought that was a cool-ass name. And then what was the third one? I guess there wasn't a third one. This is kind of the...
No, yeah. Well, also Unit 1.
Well, that's like a shoe thing.
Okay.
That's still a thing.
I feel like you had 3 brands as well, so I can't remember the name. Don't know why.
See, that's how many there was. But anyway,
that's not a bad thing. That means you have multiple opportunities of wanting to do different things.
Are there
you
still
went
opportunities if they're dissolved?
Well, I guess yeah. But one of them you legally can't have, and the other one you can make it if you wanted to. So
I don't want to.
Okay,
so,
that's fine.
Okay,
we gotta move on from that then.
Yeah, and I'm just happily married with kids and. I live the dad life. Yeah. And I'm a clothing brand owner by night.
Stripper by day.
Why have to be a girl, a stripper? Why I gotta be that? What are you? A fucking grumpy caveman? What the fuck are you?
I'm outside more than you.
No, you're not. You work at a school. If that's
so, I'm outside more than you.
Okay, technically.
Technically wins.
So that doesn't really count. You're at work.
Hey,
Anywho.
you know, that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Agree, disagree.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're not about to make this podcast about arguing back and forth because this is what we do every day. So we're not gonna. You guys are not here for that. So let's get into our first topic of the day. But we did want to stay on the still on the realm of getting to know us, man. So that introduction was a little choppy, a little rough. But I will say this, Brandon, why Young Legacy? Like, what made you guys start another clothing brand? And what made you guys want to do it together?
What made me want to do it with you?
Yeah.
It's because you pitched a great idea, the meaning behind it. I didn't really come up with a name, so that was kind of your deal. So, I mean, it just was a great message.
Yeah.
Attaching it to the youth and really just getting them involved. I think that really hit home with me because I have kids. Mm-hmm. And I see what the fuck is going on outside every damn day. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, bro, it's scary. So I think this is my way of helping aside from coaching. But I feel like this is my way of giving back and trying to pull back and also save my own kids at the same time.
Right. Yeah, so I feel the same way. I think we both had, like I said, it was easier for me because I came to you. I was like, oh, my bro hella dope at clothes. He designs pretty well. He had a couple clothing brands before, which I actually thought was dope. But I think maybe that's just the friend in me. I just think that whatever he put out was dope. But actually, a lot of the shit he did put out was dope. He just didn't stick with it. And I actually started a clothing brand somewhat within the business I had with my Will to Win Athletics, which was basically strict focus on mentality change and mindset shift in regards to training kids to go after whatever they want in life. But ultimately what it come down to is I was just teaching kids to have a different mindset and different mentality and just change the way they think and went about things. And I started coming out with clothes, and it was very successful. And I was able to make some good money on it, but then it got away from what we actually were trying to do in regards to like helping kids and mentoring them in regards to athletics and just like overall like this life coaching. So when I got away from that from too long, I realized I'm seeking so much money into this business and I'm getting away from what I actually started for. So then that's when Young Legacy came about. I'm like, if I'm going to be trying to focus on selling clothes within Will to Win, I might as well actually make a clothing brand. And I couldn't think of anybody better to do it with than my bro, Brandon, because he was hella creative.
Always knew how to dress. That guy. Say that. Just say that.
I'm not going to say that, but I will state that. He had a certain presence in regards to how he carried himself in regards to fashion. He always, we didn't have two nickels to rub together. We was always going to be fly and we was always going to be fresh. And that was most of the times what we argued about all the time, like who was fresher and things like that. And he always argued that obviously he was fresher. But, once again, we're going to agree to disagree on that one. But ultimately, we want to create a change within our community, right? We both are parents. We definitely want to make sure we're leaving our environment better than when we were there, right? Leave it better than you found it. So a lot of the times we want to make sure that we just focus on trying to help our youth have a leg up in this generation. And we believe meeting them where they were with this clothing brand was going to be one way to do it because a lot of kids don't necessarily always want to be lectured to or talked at. And most of our community and most of our parents and people that's older, they talk at kids. They don't really listen to hear them respond. They just basically talk to be heard, and they don't really care or for them to respond. I guess that kind of leads us into like our households, right? How many times have we heard in a household, what happens in this house stays in this house? Like we were taught at a young age to suppress our voices, right? And couldn't talk freely, right? Because if you talk freely, it's disrespectful.
That's kind of creepy. What happens stays in. That's almost like, nigga, I'll beat your ass and don't go tell nobody.
Nah, I mean, realistically, that's where it started from, right? We used to get our ass beat so bad, and it was like, don't go to school and tell the teachers because they'll call
Disclaimer,
CPS.
I never got my ass beat that bad. I didn't. I just want to say that.
No, different strokes for different
I got
folks.
Shit taken. Like, no door, no TV, sweatpants at school. So, I mean, I got a whooping once. Actually, my dad told me, He said, "Stop moving so your mom can hit you." But I think that was about as worse as it got. I didn't really get my ass whooped like that. I just got verbally beat the fuck down.
I mean, and in some aspects of certain people's households, that can actually appear to be actually worse than physically getting beat, right? Because you actually get broken down mentally and psychologically. We don't feel like you're enough or you can be any more than what you are. So I feel like sometimes that psychological warfare can be worse than actually physically getting beat, right? I feel like I was able to get all of it, right? But it only becomes real once you believe it, right? So it got to a point where, I heard I was dumb or this or that, or you dumb motherfucker. Your mama never called you a dumb motherfucker?
Nah, she never called me dumb. She just she would make me feel dumb. Like, she would indirectly make me call myself dumb, I guess. But she never really called me dumb. One thing we never really did, which is so many, is I think I can count on my hands like how many times my mom was like, "I love you." That was like not a thing for me as a kid. Like, the loving aspect was, so I guess like, when I say like, oh, I grew up kind of privileged, which I did. I had like the money, I had what I wanted, but I don't think there was any love there. Like my dad never hugged me. Damn, I sound like a little ass kid in the corner. We never had that. I mean, I guess I'm not tripping now, but I guess I never really thought about it. And I guess I never thought about it until it showed up in my regular life now, until my wife made me aware of it. Like, you don't really say loving words. And I was like, damn, I don't. But that's how I was raised. Like, we just kind of like, I don't even cry. So when like my wife will cry, it'll be mainly because I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, she'll be crying and I'll be sitting there like, because we didn't do that. In my house, we did not cry.
So you don't really realize that you were conditioned to be traumatized, but you were, because now you don't even know how to feel in certain moments, and you deflect the actual true emotion from certain things. Because, like, when you feel pain and you feel hella empathy in your heart, I can already know. You was just telling me a story on the way over here, but it was like you feel it, but it's like, do you even know how to act on it? It's like the situation of like growing up. Same thing. I only heard when I was loved or I love you when, like, after I done got my ass beat and now you want to talk like nice to me. Like, bro, get the fuck away from me. I don't want to talk to you and beat the shit out of me with a belt or whatever the case may be. Like, the last thing I want to do is talk to you. We not trying to be friends right now.
Come here, let me hug you. Mike Tyson used to do that.
Yeah, we not doing that. So for me, it's like I've never really learned how to receive love. So that took a long time for me. With my daughter, because she's such a kind and gentle spirit. Like, oh, Dad, I'd be like, I'd be looking at you like I want to, like, back up, hold on, hand in the chest.
You know who I think gets it the worst? My oldest.
100.
I don't know how to be nice to her, bro. I'd be like, yeah, I mean, hella mean.
Y'all.
But I think that's our banter.
Y'all love language, but it's your banter. At some point, she's like, that's just what it is. Now you're making her accept just that's what it is. Damn. And it's like, that's things that you guys need to work on. That's why when I be at the house and y'all be going back and forth, I'm like, sometimes that's some hurtful shit.
She be poking the bear, though.
Yeah, but you're the adult, so you can't stoop down to her level.
Sometimes I have to. Sometimes I gotta let her know.
Nah, sometimes we ain't in the yard about winning roasting battles. It's like the same thing with winning.
My house is the yard. That's all we do is roast each other.
Yeah, but it's like at the end of the day, you understand that those comments have like a life of their own. Like, they live on within your kids, and they eventually start to believe them.
I'm gonna give her a hug when I get home. Damn.
That's cool too, but it's like, I'm speaking on this because right now when we're talking about the legacy watch, we're not just talking about like the things that you build. We're talking about things that you want to leave behind as well, and that's trauma. That's certain behaviors, like you said. I want to make it regular that when my daughter tells me she loves me, I want to make sure I let her know I love her back, and not just saying like, I love you, right? You got lights, right? You got food in the house, right? You got clothes, right? I was like, bro, your actions and your love is not always predicated on what you provide for me.
That was deep, because I use that shit. So,
because you were trained. We were trained that way. We were trained that way, and that's why, like, for me personally, I refuse to do that anymore because somebody made it like present to me that we do that. And it's like, bro, okay, just because you pay a bill for your wife or whatever doesn't mean she doesn't want to still be taken out and submitted to or whatever the case may be. So you can't just be like, well, I just bought you a purse.
You're doing it again.
What I do?
You're putting the battery in her back. So when she listens to you're doing it again. This is why you are not gonna be allowed to come to my house anymore.
Hey, no, just like I'm just the opposite of Kevin Samuels. Like I'm just on the side of the woman.
Guy.
I'm on the side of the woman in regards because I
get it, but
I can understand.
Some of the shit he was saying
because I can 100%. A lot of shit he said was factual, but like my mom used to always tell us, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
He didn't say anything. Like,
boy,
he just was being honest.
He was being bluntly and harshly honest. You can be honest without, and your delivery can still be different.
I'm going to ask you another question. Then why the fuck would they call into the show?
I mean, some people need to. Yeah, it's their own punishment for sure. But it's like it doesn't matter. So it should matter in the sense of like you made that decision, but they called because they wanted to. Something was calling them to call because they did need to hear that truth. Just not that way.
So let me get this. So you called into my show, and you want me to cater to your feelings. That's what you're saying.
It's a fucked up thought process, but yes, 100%. That's what they do.
Okay.
Right, but if they, that's what I'm saying. It didn't make sense because if they knew his show, when did he ever cater to anybody's feelings?
So then,
hey,
that can lead me to a topic that I want to talk to you about. How does your upbringing affect the way you parent and the way you show up in your relationship?
Well, to be honest, like I told you, like you said, I had to basically turn to Dr. Phil over the last 3 years because I was doing so much shit wrong in my relationship from year 1 to year 15 that I didn't even pay attention to until it was too late, until I lost my relationship. It got that bad to the point where I was not paying attention to any signs or anything I was doing because I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong because I was respectful. I was treating you right. I didn't put my hands on you like my mom and my dad did. I didn't cuss you out your name. So I feel like because I was doing everything that I didn't want, I still wasn't learning what to do, the right things to do, right? A lot of us live our lives off of what not to do, and we never really learn what to do. So a lot of the times I was basically like kind of training myself off of the things that I didn't want to do, and I still was never learning the right things to do or to say. So I think a lot of ways affected me. Like the only way I knew how to be affectionate to a woman was trying to have sex with her. I wasn't trying to hold hands. I wasn't trying to like arm around you walking in public. I was like, bro, chill, like relax. Like I'm hanging with my boys. And that ultimately created a lot of things because no, but what I did was bros over hoes. But what I did was I created another bro within my relationship.
You know, my wife would always ask me, she'd be like, are you dating a man? I'm like, what the fuck? I took it the wrong way. Like, yeah, I ain't gay. What?
Nah, facts. I tell people all the time. I tell the kids all the time, like, bro, you want to be a woman to your man or you want to be a nigga to your man? What we doing? So okay, so you knowing that, again, you are very good at knowing who you are. Do you feel like you owe any women you've wronged behind that an apology? I feel like, the arrogant aspect of me thought that I was always the answer to every woman problem.
The fuck? You thought you was like God's gift to her?
No, in a sense, because like anytime that I caught myself getting in a situation where I basically stepped out on my relationship is because I was trying to heal some other person's problem instead of dealing with my own problem. Right, so most of the time when a female had a problem, I was being the ear and the shoulder for her, and I was listening to her.
Being the creep, you were the wolf.
I wasn't doing it on purpose, but ultimately that's what it came down to. Yeah, because I was trying to be that happiness. I'm gonna tell you this example, right? So I used to always tell Becca this, right? It was always like if I'm in a grocery store, right, and I'm just getting ready to check out, and I hear an older woman talk to a cashier like, "Hey, in all my years, I've never had a man tell me I was beautiful and brought me flowers."
When the fuck do you hear that at a grocery store, nigga? What the fuck?
It's an example. It's not actual like.
When have you heard any?
Bro, you'll be surprised at what you hear in a grocery store. Let's
Why
be clear.
are you even listening to that
Because
shit?
I'm right
Who
next to the
fuck-
person. How am I not going to hear? But anyway, let me finish with what
Call
I'm
me the
saying.
next time
But
that
my
shit
whole
happens.
point is this. A woman says, hey, I never was told I was beautiful and never received flowers. My natural instinct into making people happy is as a people pleaser is to make sure, like, damn, I want to send her a unanimous card and tell her she's beautiful and send her flowers just to make her day. Right? Not because I'm trying to get with this older woman, just to make her feel that special thing that she's never felt before. So the problem with that is I created like a thing for myself trying to make it a drug because I always try to be that for somebody else.
This is
Instead
the old you
of,
or the new you?
well, the old me within the 15 years of my relationship. Yeah. Bro, you got to understand.
I don't know that side either.
You wasn't because you're not a girl.
No, I'm saying I've never. Here you go with the girl rap. Like, why?
I say you're not a girl.
Oh, you called me a girl earlier. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
that's besides the point. I'm just saying I've never. That's okay.
Well, you did know I talked to women, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying
So how you think I talk to them the same way I talk to you?
You're missing what I'm saying. That's not what.
What were you saying?
I'm saying I've never seen the side of you to be like, oh, this woman is crying. Let me go get her. I've never seen that.
Well, it also stemmed from like the traumas of me growing up in a household where I had to kind of go, like you said, I don't know how to comfort my wife when she's crying. I had to comfort my mom when my dad and them physically got into altercations and.
Did
like,
you? Yeah, I never saw that.
Bro, I literally called you one day on the phone when I
know
got
that, but
tired
I'm
of this
saying-
shit and I told you I was going to kill my dad.
I remember that.
Like,
but I'm
yeah,
saying,
so a lot of the stuff that I deal with has past or history behind it. I don't just like, Johnny's hella mean and looks angry all the time. And it's like, bro, have you ever found out the moment like, hey, bro, like, what's wrong? Why are you always seem like you mad all the time? Then they would be able to talk to you.
But you don't really talk, so you would be like, you'd say,
If somebody cared enough to find out, I would, but they didn't. It's like at school, that's why I feel like it's wrong with our school system is if they cared enough about who their kids are, they wouldn't make the first week about, here's the syllabus. They would make the first week about icebreakers. Let's get to know our kids. Let's get to know who's in our class, not just another name on a roll sheet. A lot of our teachers don't do that, so a lot of kids aren't going to have any connection to them because you haven't created anything with vulnerability, credibility, or any of that. But if I come here and say, hey, I come from a domestic household. Hey, my mom didn't love me. Hey, this happened. They'd be like, oh, shit, Miss Thomas, I fuck with you because I come from a domestic household. They're not going to say that because you never try to relate to them on any level outside of I'm the teacher, do what the fuck I say, turn this assignment in, or you get an F.
Do you feel like your mom loved you?
I think she is for what she was able to give. My mom comes from a very traumatic household where her mom was on drugs her whole life, so she loved me the best way she could. Is there effects and problems with that? 100%, but she loved me the best way she could. You don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot of things that she just didn't know. So I had to deal with that, but it's like you have to be like, whoa, your mom provided food, your mom provided a household, your mom moved you out the ghetto, right? She provided a lot of great things based off of what she was able to give, but there was a lot of things that I did not receive that are vital to our humanity in regards to this being a
But
nice
it almost
person.
seems like in like the day and age we are now, it almost seems like you can't please anyone. Like it's almost like I feel like the mental health shit is so like it's so like everybody has mental health problems, and it's like I can't. Like, I almost have to live every day worrying about if my child is going to resent me or she's going to do this. It's like, what the hell? Like, even your story now, I'm not diminishing how you feel or anything. I'm just saying, even your story now, it's like, yeah, she did the best she could, but even that's not enough because you didn't get what you felt like you needed. But she gave you what she felt like you needed.
Right.
So I feel like often as a community, we don't highlight the good before the bad. Like we'll be so stuck on like, oh, she made me mentally, I wasn't prepared for this. I didn't know how to love.
So we play the victim.
But she also got you away from them pissy hallways and Raekwon shooting up drugs. So I feel like yeah, my mom did a lot of bad shit. She did. And I don't resent her. Like I don't even resent my biological father. I respect him because you did what you knew. You did only what you knew.
Right.
So it's like he can only do with what he knows. So I'm not mad at you for it. I think a better way a better way to spin it is we just need to get her the help she needs.
Right.
Because we're going to go back years and years and years and years and years and years of trauma because your mom had it, and then her mom had it, and then her mom had it, and then eventually we got to do something. Like, we can't keep crying for she didn't give me this. Somebody's got to.
Well, that's why you're the black sheep and the disruptor of your family now, because people always assume the black sheep or the disruptor is something negative. Like, they're the black sheep of the family. That does not necessarily mean negative. It means, like, I want to break the curses that our family has been passing down over and over and over again, that we just won't do that no more. Like, my daughter is 6 years old, and we grew up just getting yelled at for no good reason. Like you said, that we talked about in the car, that, bro, you just used to get whooped out of frustration of them. They had a hard day, now you pissed them off, now you're getting a whooping. Like, bro, what the fuck did I do?
I didn't get whoopings.
Well,
but
I'm
my
speaking
mom
to
definitely would take out her days. I could see, like, it would be minute. Like, why did you leave this out? And something, and I think that's why I'm so big on perspective, because it's not, and my son's just like me. He does the same exact shit. It's like, it's really not that big of a deal. But I can tell, to you. But if you really stopped and sat down and you were like, I mean, he left it out. That's irritating. But am I bringing a little bit of the fact that I'm not hitting the sale quota I need to at work, or my boss was on my back before I left out today? Am I bringing a little bit of that here?
100%.
Or am I genuinely mad that you just left a towel on the counter?
I think if you put it along those lines, like our buddy that just went to Nigeria, he came back with a different perspective, I feel like it's the same thing. Like, if you go to Nigeria, you go to Africa, you're going to learn that shit ain't that deep. Like, the shit that we worried about ain't that tough.
I don't want to go there.
So me personally, I would say that it's not that deep, but it is, because the principle of it, especially if I'm trying to teach you something, some life skills, to be accountable, to be respectful to other people's space, it is that deep. And you don't get to determine that it's not, right? Especially when you don't really make the rules. And unfortunately in life, we have to get along to get along. And in order for us to, we have to do what we have to do what we want to do.
Then we're going to spend our life trying to, I don't know. I guess it's a catch-22. I can see where the shit would affect. I could definitely see how I was raised affects my relationship and the way I deal with my family. I'm just not very emotionally there, because I'm really good at suppressing things. Like, I didn't even cry when my grandma died, and my grandma was my person.
That was your dog.
And I just don't cry, like, shit. And I think I try to push that on, like, my wife, like when she's upset, or I'd be like, it's really not that fucking serious. But it's not for me. That's not for me to determine. I need to show up where she needs me, and that's definitely my problem. But I definitely don't want to spend my life trying to fucking blame my mom for what she didn't give me, because I feel like she gave me more than she had to. Really, if I think about all the shit that I did get, I mean, I got some good shit. I got some bad shit. I got some good shit. Maybe my perspective, I just want to take the good shit, and maybe I'm suppressing again, and I just want to look at the good. But I just feel like I respect her more for really having me, nigga. Like, you had me at a time, a crack era. You didn't have to have me, bro. Motherfuckers. And, you know, I respect my biological father, but he wasn't the best father. So it's kind of like, you didn't have to do this.
Right.
And everything pointed to you not doing this, and you shouldn't do this.
Right.
So, I mean, I think I just take it.
I'd
I'd rather take that.
I look at it like both ways. Like you read, that's what I'm saying. For me, you can't just harp on the bad. You can't just help it like, oh, my life was shitty, my mom was horrible, my dad wasn't shit. Nah, I feel like I am who I am today, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Without all those things that happened, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be the kind, caring person that I am.
Why not focus on that?
We do focus on that, but the fact of the matter is you can't ignore the past. Like,
No,
a lot
you
of things,
can't ignore it. But
a lot of things that you're dealing with right now, the simple fact that you say you can't cry, that's a problem.
I can, I just don't. I got tear ducts.
I know you're. See, I'm gonna slap you because that's the problem, bro. Now you're being too literal. This is serious because you can. Obviously, you're able to, but you choose not to, or you hold it back. That means there's a barrier that's blocking something right now.
But shit don't make me. You know, my kids have never. They be like juiced to see if I'm about to cry. They be like, "Is Dad? Did he cry?"
You don't think that's odd?
I think it's funny. I just don't cry, bro. Like I literally just. I mean, my wife seen me cry, but like, if she could count on her hand, it'd be like 2 fingers.
I've been knowing you since we was in 7th grade. And I probably could say I've seen you cry once.
I don't cry, bro. It's
Right,
just,
but
I think it stems from my dad. I remember I had a conversation. I remember it too, like what I had on. My dad came in my room, and he asked me a legit. This changed my life. He asked me first. He said, "Why are you crying?" And I mean, my feelings was hurt, and he was like, "But you know, once you're done, the problem is still there, so it just doesn't make any sense to waste all that energy instead of finding a solution."
I disagree with that completely because it's the same thing. You can use that analogy or that example when somebody's drinking and smoking, right? I got high because I was dealing with some shit. Okay, when you get done from coming down from being high, you're still gonna be dealing with something, right?
I mean,
but when you cry, you face it and you cleanse from it. Yes, and now you move forward and you do something about it. But you still cry about it because of the emotion. You're human.
Yeah, but you can also. I don't know. I feel like that was a life hack. To me, I just feel like that was because it's true.
Bro,
like, bro, I'm finna just handle it. I don't need to cry. That's why my youngest daughter is such a thug.
You can cry and handle it. Like, why? Hey,
but crying takes so much fucking energy, bro. Like, it's like you sitting there. Remember Booby Miles?
It's a perspective though, because that's a cleanse and a release to me, to most people, right? Some people look at it as crying as a weakness.
I'm not saying it's a weakness. I'm just saying it's.
If you don't,
to me, it's unnecessary.
If you don't do it, and then you're judging your wife for doing it, is it not? Are you not looking at her as a weakness, or you don't know how to help her with that?
I'm not judging her. I know that I know her. I know she's more emotional than me, so things hit.
But if, say like this, put it in this perspective. If you cared a little bit more closer to how she cares, you think y'all have a deeper connection? Because then she seems like you're just always passing shit off and nonchalant.
It depends.
About what she cares about.
But let's be honest, some of the shit ain't worth crying for. Like some of
the
shit.
You don't get to determine that.
I mean, I
have a daughter that cries about every fucking thing,
she's
right?
Also what?
She's
7?
6. Okay. But still, I can determine like, hey, bro, you that's not. You're allowed to cry about everything, though.
So what's the difference?
Because I don't think she's crying about everything. She's crying about a certain thing that you're not picking up on a pattern that she's crying about.
So how do we choose? Okay, well, I guess it's not my choice to. I don't know. I just feel like.
When you don't know what to do with it, then you just do your research and you study more.
So you want me to sit next to her and study?
No, not necessarily that, but like just being a little bit more empathetic right now. Like you're super empathetic, right? But it's like the same thing I'll tell you about the love language. Like you're loving her the way you know how to love her, not the way she's asking to be loved.
That's where I can narrow down the problem. My love language is money. That's how we throw money. My family, the Pitts family, we throw money at the problem.
Right.
So when there's a problem, here's $500. Because everything can be solved with money. Like you can't get your car out the shop, so I'm sad. Don't be sad. Here's $1,000.
Right, but then we're not going to focus on the problem that got your car in the shop.
No, that's not how.
You weren't taking care of your car.
Down. That's not how we get down.
So you recognize all these things as some things that you guys do, but you don't focus on trying.
Well, that's hard to break because I've been like that my whole. You gotta think, bro.
So I'm saying your whole life. You're 33 years old. You still have a lot of life.
No, I didn't say I'm ending. I'm just saying for 33 years, because I was raised by my mother, but like she went to work. I stayed with my grandma till she got off. Then I go back, and some days I don't go back. Like so, you gotta think. Elizabeth Pitts was my mom essentially. So anything she got, that's how I was raised. But that's
the only way she knew how to support you because she couldn't jump around and run around with you all the time with you. So she just gave you the money and said, Brandon, go do this. Brandon, go do that.
That's how she raised my biological father also.
Well, that's why he values money over everything.
That's probably why he's in the situation.
But you're also doing the same thing.
I know, and what I'm trying to explain to you is I'm conscious of it, but it's really hard. That's a really hard thing to break because money still makes me happy. So it's something that I'd probably have to change myself before trying to go.
I agree.
Outward.
because I was the same way. But I had to learn that, bro, I need to be happy with $0 in my pocket. You know, those, like I said, I can't speak to you, but on those times I went to go visit my cousins, and they were actually like in the poorest times. We went from my house to going to 96 and Sunnyside off of C Street, playing in the park.
Drug track.
Yeah, playing in the park with nothing in our hands, bro. When we was just happy to go run to the store with some food stamp, the paper food stamp, right? And we were going to go buy snacks, right? So it's like cap guns and shit, right? We were going to go do that. That was happiness to us. I was content. We didn't have no money, but there would be that moment where that 5.0 will drive by with them Desert Eagles on it and be like, I would aspire to want that.
So you never went to a store as a kid and wanted something you couldn't get?
Of course.
Okay.
We would steal it, though.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God. We was stealing though. So it's like I was with my cousins and we was in the town, bro. We was stealing. What the fuck? Like,
well, that's how you satisfied your urge. I wasn't fucking stealing, nigga. What the fuck? I'm sitting here sad. This nigga, I ain't gonna be sad, nigga. I'm stealing this shit. It's mine.
Hey, but yeah, that was a time and a place. But at the end of the day, I realized when I couldn't have something, I had to just come up with a different plan and work for it. Not because it came a time and place where that matters. My integrity mattered. When I was a kid, it's like you just wanted what you wanted, so you just did what you had to do, right? But there's a certain perspective. Like now, I'll go walk a kid and talk a kid out of anything, right? You don't need to steal, you need to fight, you need to do this, and realize like I used to do all that shit at like a high level. So I was like, but now it's like I'm older now, so when you know better, you do better, right?
A high level liquor store thief.
No, I was like stealing constantly. Me and Rashawn used to like steal all the time and just be having hella snacks and shit for no reason, right? And it was
when
like,
was
why?
this? Because
this is a lot of times before we probably met you, and even when we were at Deer Valley, Rashawn used to still be stealing. Until we got caught, we had hella snacks in our drawers, and my mom found out because Rayshawn, one of our siblings had asked to get some candy from Rayshawn. He said, or one of the football players that used to live with us, and he said no. And because he said no, they snitched on him, and they went upstairs and found all this nigga's stash and took all of it away. And he got his ass whooped because ultimately found out he was stealing from
well, what did they do
Albertsons.
with the candy?
No, my mom and my dad fucked up stuff. They
I ain't
probably
gonna lie.
ate
My
it.
daughter stole some tweets, and
they didn't give it back or like, hey, here
let
you
her
go.
eat it.
So I
What you
mean,
gonna do with it?
there was a time and a place where we all did different things that we weren't supposed to do. Me and you caught ourselves trying to
Don't
cut
put me in
school
there.
one time in middle school, and
No, we did.
maybe it was me and Zaire.
Yeah,
then.
I didn't cut school, brother.
I was saying,
Oh no, I did.
That-
I cut school with Zaire, and we sat in the back of the school for like 10 minutes. And we said, "Damn, nigga, there is nothing to do.
exactly,
I'm going back to class."
Exactly. So it was a situation where it was like used to do a lot of things that we didn't know were bad until we were taught that they were. Same situation I was conditioned with Michael Vick back in the days when he was like, I grew up watching my whole life of seeing people dog fight. I didn't know it was bad because what we always did.
Why is it bad though? Man?
Because it's cruelty to animals. It's like Mandingo fighting back in the days with slaves, like just beating up each other till the death. That's pretty bad.
I guess. I mean, I guess. Maybe I don't look at dogs like that. I don't like dogs. So
Well, a lot of people do. So I was like, shout out to all the dog lovers out there because we ain't got no problems with y'all. It's all good.
I mean, yeah, they're cool, but I just don't fuck with dogs.
That's fine. But like I said, some people do, and some people
Damn,
value dogs more
let me chat. I don't want to see any dog hurt. That is word to PETA. I don't want to see any dog hurt. I just don't see why it's kind of like black on black crime. It's dog on dog crime. I don't see why. Hey, do y'all thing, bro.
Well, like you said, like the whole premise is this: is when you know better, you do better, right? Ultimately, and that's the way we bring it all the way back to our family. You don't want to be like your dad, so you do everything.
I'm not like
exactly. You know you're nothing like him, but you do everything in your power. And believe it or not, everything that you did to not be like him, you still have traits of him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you do.
I think the money thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's a big thing.
But is that him or is
because you value your presence being around your family more than he did with the money. So it's a difference because you don't value the same thing, the same amount, but you still value money. You still think in some ways, form or fashion, it can be fixed by money.
A lot of things can be fixed with money.
No, there's no argument there. Obviously, that's the case, but I'm just stating that.
Maybe I need some fucking therapy. God damn.
I would advise anybody. Shout out to everybody that's in therapy. As a person that's I was in therapy for a year. It helped me drastically. I would advise anybody that needs support therapy because we think, oh, I have my friends, I have my sister, I have my brother. But therapy, talking to a stranger that don't know you from Adam, that is the best thing you could do because they have no reason to not like you, judge you, whatever the case may be. They're just there to give you perspective and then help you identify some of the problems that you are having that you have not identified with or that you're being delusional about, I would say. Because we all know we need shit. We got shit we got to deal with, but we don't do nothing about it.
Do you think therapists need therapists?
100%.
Well, then where does it fucking stop?
Who's
the fucking matriarch here who's going, I'm perfect and I'm telling everyone what to do? There's got to be somebody at the top of the hill.
God. If you believe in that thing.
You think God got a therapist?
He's all knowing, so he doesn't need a therapist.
So what does Jesus have?
God.
You're going somewhere there, brother. So you're making me want to pay my tithes.
Hopefully you already paid him. 10% should go to God first.
I don't really go to
okay,
church.
we're not going
to I should go to church. If you got a good church, tell me.
Yeah, man. Hey, when we drop this, man, make sure y'all comment in the comments about or the subscription link, whatever, in regards to what church y'all go to and the pastor and all that. We definitely down to.
I do have some requirements. The pastor needs to be black. He has to be black, and I don't want to be paying for the church's broken down vehicle. I'll pay my tithes, but. And 10% is many, bro. Like, what if you don't?
No.
You know what? That's a good. You know what? Let me touch on that. When I did go to church, I felt pressured. Like when he would be like, "Yeah, the God has put this on my heart that somebody in this room can donate $1,000." I mean, I got 1,000. Is he talking to me? I'm like, nigga, well, shit. If I give you 1,000, I'm gonna be left with a little.
But if
God
didn't put it on your heart, then.
But God don't never put that shit on my heart. So if that was the case, I would never be giving nothing.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm going to need you to make sure you get right with God because we need our favor within our business going forward.
Hold on now. I am right with God. I feel like I talk to God, but I don't feel like I don't need to go to church.
Do you feel like you stay still long enough to hear him, though?
You want me to be very transparent on here?
Yeah.
I don't even know, bro. I know I talk to him and bro answer.
So do you feel like it's more you're treating God more like a genie? Like you're asking
for
wishes?
No. My mom told me about that when I was a kid. When I would pray for.
I'll talk to your mom about this.
Tennis shoes and shit like that. But no, I don't. I pray for like things. I pray for like I'll pray for sometimes like I pray for my wife or my kids, but I just don't feel like I need to go to church to get like. I feel like I find God's messages walking through life. Like, this is like having a kid. Like, I can see why you should not have a child out of wedlock. Granted, maybe I'm learning. It's taking me longer to learn. But I feel like I'm learning shit as I go. I don't need this Joel Augustine, whatever his name is, up there looking like the blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil telling me that. I'm sorry, I got that from. Okay. Anyway,
hey, y'all gonna learn very quickly. He'll go.
I just don't feel like I need to go to church, bro. I don't feel like that. I don't feel okay with him asking me to repair their van. Why is that my problem?
Okay, so check this out. Right. All right. So in the household, right, the man is the leader, right?
Yes.
So do you believe that that's the case?
I mean, to an extent. We're in 2023. I feel like either gender can lead.
100%. But you feel like your wife will respect it more if you were the leader?
I mean, I guess.
Okay, so when
I don't know.
When there's an issue going on and all the kids only lean and look to the leader of the house, meaning your wife, because she's making all the rules.
I think they do. I think they do look to me. I complain to my dad about this.
You understand that just as a man alone, you have a presence. You don't really necessarily got to say anything. It's the same thing like your wife can be the disciplinary where she actually goes and taps the kids and touch their ass up real quick. Mm-hmm. But it's a situation where you don't necessarily got to touch them at all. Same thing with my daughter. I can just say something with a certain tone and she know what time it is. Her mom got to get in her ass.
They don't. Ain't no tone. You
gotta. Well, that's because you also created that space for like like the camaraderie to be like hella joking, playful. Like I don't I want my daughter to respect me. I don't want her to be scared of me, right? And I feel like our parents grew up with trying to make us scared of them. And it's like, okay, well, if I'm scared of you, then I'm not going to come to you.
I wasn't scared of my mom, but I was scared as hell. I think I'm kind of still scared of my dad, and he old as shit. So.
He got a certain presence on how he carries himself.
And he's little. Like, I didn't realize. I'm like, bro, you're little.
Yeah, but he always just demanded a certain respect, not only in your households, but just in the community. Like, nobody ever tried him because he always carried himself a certain way. That's just what it is. Like, the kids always, like, off the top, you got the respect. My dad would get in your face and be like, I'll beat your ass. Like,
your dad was mean.
The whole different ball game. And he was hella big.
He told me I was going to be a bus driver.
Yeah, and he was hella big. Like, what's wrong with you,
everybody else is these great things, and he get to me, and Brandon, you going to drive the bus. Damn, bro. Why I got to drive them? That really hurt my feelings.
Hey, the crazy thing about it is I don't feel like it was too much of a slight. He was giving you just a regular, everyday job because he drove the bus. Fucking bus driver.
Why can't all y'all doing all these and I'm the bus driver?
All these great things that you got to drive people around. All right, yeah, man. I don't know. I
guess in a sense that's what I do now. I drive everyone around.
But
in my bus.
I just think ultimately, like when we're talking about legacy, it's like we have so many different ways we're talking about legacy. It's not always about everybody focusing on the positive, but what about the negative legacy we pass on to each other every single day? The way we parent back to the question about parenting our children, like. I don't want to parent with intimidation and fear. I don't want to love from a place of fear. I want to love from intentionality and gratitude. Like I get to love on you, right? Not I have to, right? I gotta pay this bill. Like I get to pay this bill because I'm doing it.
I feel like I want to do those things, and I feel like sometimes I do, but I feel like kids take advantage of that. Like kids are smart.
They only take advantage of the inconsistencies because if you never switch up and you never give them any out or any like wiggle room, then it's fine. But I'm not saying like just be a damn like warden and a militant person. But I'm saying like if you really never give them a warning, like I know if we lean on him this way, he gonna cave, or if he like it is what it is. This is how we moving. And I got wiggle room. Like, you come talk to me, come chat with me. Same thing I was at the house when y'all was trying to get Braylon to get the understanding of you're not telling us shit. You're going to ask me.
You think you got it?
No.
Okay,
no, but it's because he just wasn't really getting just the delivery of it, right? And then it was like he was really on time. Like, he was blocking all that shit out because he wanted to go where he wanted to go. So he wasn't giving a fuck about what y'all was talking about. He's just like, what's the answer? And he already assumed the answer was yes because y'all probably said yes to him so many other times. Like, why wouldn't I be able to go to this friend's house? You obviously already did your background. They're good, right? If they weren't good, my mom definitely wouldn't let me go. So they know I'm damn near good. So if it was yes the last 3 times, then why wouldn't I assume it's yes again?
Because you didn't ask. But I feel like, yeah, maybe you're right.
So I think it's just patterns, though. But like you said, if you're like, hey, bro, you're not going to what's the house once that bathroom is clean, that's a whole different ball game now. Like, your ass ain't going because the bathroom ain't clean. Now you know why you're not going. And that's strictly on you, not on us. So that was a lot of reasons why I did it. Even when I had the bathroom clean, I still couldn't go nowhere. Because motherfuckers need me to
everybody was coming to you, so it really didn't matter.
No, because motherfuckers need me to babysit.
I mean, you was babysitting.
Yeah, you was at my house, and I was babysitting 3 kids.
Yeah, and I was eating all that shit. It was great.
So that is what it is, bro. It's like for me, I don't play victim to it, bro. For all my moms, like you said, she decided to have me at 18 years old. So I don't have no problem with her. But I'm still not going to just negate the things that they did not teach us or the way they didn't love on us because then I would be like.
But who's to say your way is right?
What do you mean?
I see a lot.
It's not about my way. It's about, like, once again, it's not about my way. And my way is not right. It's just different. But I'm asking you to love me my way.
Well, what I'm saying, I say that to say, like I feel like a lot of us, because I got to put this on myself, try to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
So you're a great person.
Mm-hmm.
Now it took a little soul searching, but you're a good person for the most part. So why is it not okay to replicate it? You're a good person. So why do we need to break off that?
You know the crazy thing about that, Brandon? That's a good-ass question you just asked because you know the answer already to this, right? The same way you grew up is not the same way you're gonna have your kids grow up. There were certain things that your kids will never experience that you experience, right? That's what makes you different.
I mean, but it's things that I can control though. But yeah, I guess.
But it's just like those things made you, right? The domestic violence in my household, growing up in certain projects, sleeping on certain floors, making pallets and shit.
I didn't know.
My daughter will never know that because she's only going to have security and understanding in her life because I actually talk to my daughter and I let her talk to me.
You slept on the floor in there? And like, I never knew. No, I'm not even trying to be funny. I never knew. Like, I never. I mean, as far as I was concerned, you're from, what is that, Crown Peak? And you got a house, a pool, a trampoline.
Just like anybody else, somebody was like, when people like, oh, this is what you do? And then people like, I had a life before this, right? I had a life before you met me in Antioch. We all come from somewhere, right?
That's true.
So it's like, even when I was living in Antioch and my cousins was driving in the car with my dad and whatever auction car he had at the time, right? And they pushed out to Antioch, they was getting out the car like, damn, you live here? Y'all got a big-ass house? Y'all got money, right? But then I had to get back in the car with them, get off on 98th and Golf Links, come down that hill, and then go to their humble abode. And it was like, oh, shit, right? But you couldn't tell me nothing right because, yeah, I understand we lived in two different places, and my shit was nicer than they shit, but I was happy to be there because I was hanging with my cousins. I was free. I had no motherfucking hovering over me, watching me. We was able to live life. We was able to enjoy it.
Going to my cousin's house.
I loved it, right? Because it's like for me, I was able to get more freedom to do whatever I want, and it wasn't about where I was; it was who I was with, right? They were more like my brothers and my cousins. And shout out to my cousin Trayvon, rest in peace. They made me feel at home, even though I was in the projects and they mom was on drugs and motherfucker, we was stealing from all the shit, candy houses and stuff like that. That was the best times of my life because I was able to be a kid. When I went back to Crown Peak Way, I had to be an adult. I started watching kids. I couldn't go to school dances.
Were these your mom's relatives?
No, these are my dad's relatives.
Oh, okay. I want to ask you a question that I asked my wife that we both dealt with, but maybe we dealt with different. So being that you had like a stepdad,
right?
Did you ever feel different? Like with his family? Like, did you ever feel like not included? Or like, it's not my real dad, but it is, but it isn't.
I would say that there was moments of that because they come from just, like you said, you don't know what you don't know and you're used to what you're used to, right? So my mom came from a dysfunctional family, right? She didn't know who her dad was, just recently found out who her dad was a couple years ago. And then the one that she thought was her dad just recently passed away, which Grandpa Donnie, you met.
I love that guy. Right. Put it in my room.
And then her actual biological father, who nobody ever told her was her father, she just found out a couple years ago, and he passed away, right? So my mom, my grandma Linda, rest in peace, was on drugs her whole life. She died at 59 years old, right? And obviously me and your wife share my grandmother.
That's an interesting story.
That's for another day. And she was raised a certain way of how to do things. But my stepfather was also raised by his father, both of them, and his mother, which both are gone, my Granny Faye and my Grandpa James. They're both gone as well. But they grew up in a dysfunctional household, physical fighting, verbal assault, all the bullshit, right? Jeez. So what that happened was two people who are used to dysfunction got together and created a dysfunctional fucking house, right? So, yeah, I did acknowledge that I was not his child a couple times because they would argue and be like, they ain't my motherfucking kids. So there was situations when shit got heated and got hot in there, shit got real in there, right? And there were certain things where he would say things maliciously to hurt her feelings, but we heard.
I want to say this. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's fucked up.
I'm sorry that happened too.
That's fucked up.
But once again, like you stated, I don't hold any grudges. I still love that man to death. He raised me since I was 4 years old. Did he always do it the right way? No. But did he show me so many other great things? Yes. My passion for helping kids comes from him and my mom. So there's so many great things that they showed me, and there's so many great things that they're responsible for. The reason I started Will to Win is because of my dad. And the reason I have my mom on this right arm and my dad on this arm is because good or bad or ugly, they raised me and they did the best they could do with what they got. Because they could have been, there's a lot of motherfucking parents that gave up on their kids and said, figure it out.
So the family, like his family, did they ever make you feel like?
I wouldn't say that they necessarily did, because his brother, who passed away as well, my Uncle Mike, who passed away from pancreatic cancer.
I love that guy too.
Great
Shout out
dude.
Uncle Mike.
And his wife, my Auntie Joyce, they never made me feel no type of way. His mom, my Granny Faye, never made me feel no type of way. Every Christmas we had Christmas presents. Every Easter, we had Easter eggs. We was doing with everybody else. So as kids, we didn't feel it, but my mom felt it.
Did subconscious? So the reason I asked that is because I had the similar. My dad, he's never said that to me,
right,
at all. I actually reversed it, and I
told him he ain't your dad.
Yeah,
right.
Which was out of super malicious intent.
Right.
And I don't even know why I said that.
Because you were angry and emotional,
little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I still felt uncomfortable. Like nobody did anything wrong to me, but in the back of my mind, I still think like this today. I love that family,
mm-hmm.
but like I'll even be talking to my wife, and the reason, I guess this is me going back to me just suppressing so hard. Mm-hmm. Like I'll still get the benefit of that, like, well, like, okay, for instance, she'll be like, is it weird like that they didn't show much attention like to Christian or something? And I'll be like, I guess. I don't care. Like, mm-hmm. because I'm so used to just not giving a fuck.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I think I always kept that like, you can't hurt me.
Right.
Because I know already. Before you say anything, I already know. So what you gonna do to hurt me? I already know you're not my dad. I already know you're not my auntie. Ooh. Right. I feel like I walked around with that, and I really feel like that stopped the love I could have got. Because I see my little brother, mm-hmm. like he goes to my auntie Portia's house mm-hmm. and spend the night, mm-hmm. and we don't have that relationship. Mm-hmm. And like for a while, it bugged me. I'm like, damn, why I can't go over there? But then I think I'm like, oh, I kind of made it that way. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, whatever. She's not my auntie anyway. I don't care. And I go back to like being a kid.
That's deep, bro.
So that's why I asked you that, because
that's deep, because just because you don't acknowledge it doesn't mean it's not weighing heavy on you. That's the crazy thing about it.
I don't be thinking nothing weighing, because I'm so good at like not giving a. I'll tell my kid, like I will sit down with the family, like, bro, why do y'all give a fuck? Like,
you say that, but I don't think you understand. There's a subconscious aspect that's happening with you that is giving a fuck. You just don't put it to the forefront.
But I feel like if I do, then I'll start going off. Like, there'll be tangents where I'll get so mad at my family that I can't even help it. Like, I'll just be like, fuck this shit. I'm not, y'all niggas about to hear me today. Mm-hmm. And then it's times where I'll be like my wife always say, you're hella passionate about certain shit, and then certain shit you're hella like, not.
The crazy thing about it is you're a very passionate person, but you're selective in when you want to use it.
Ooh, like that selective anger.
Yes, selective memory, selective everything. But there's a reason why we're selective, because if we bring it out all the time, it's going to come with something else. It's going to come back. Some other conflict is going to come back.
I guess
and
that's
why we're
not
always ready to pick that carpet
me.
up. We're not always ready to pick that carpet. That's why some motherfuckers, when they be sweeping floors, they don't lift that motherfucking corner up, because they know it's going to be hella dirt you done passed up the last 2 months. Son. That's what it is. He knows he going to have to deal with it.
There's certain shit. I feel like therapy. Yeah, I do. I would need to go with my mom, but I feel like I don't.
You need to go by yourself first.
Yeah.
Then you can learn how to address it with going.
But I don't even think she's ready for that, because there's so many times like
you let her know it's not about her though, right? Mom, I need you to join me in therapy because I need it.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, that sounds great.
I know, sounds awesome.
But you don't know, baby D. It ain't nah. But I think a lot of that shit has stopped me from, even my little brother. Like, there's been times where I've resented him, like, damn, nigga, you got all this type of shit, and these motherfuckers was ready to put me out. Like, I watched them put him through school. You could stay there. And like, it doesn't bother me anymore, but it's like, there was a time where it would be like, nigga, like.
So you feel like it was something underlying that, because I'm not a Lombard by blood, that I was being treated differently.
But I just felt like I never had a place. Like, just little shit, like the answering machine. You reached the Lombards, but I'm not a Lombard. So I just feel like I don't really have a place here. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got a room because you have to. Or what else you gonna do?
And you know the fucked up thing about it is they'll listen, they'll hear it, right? And they'll be like, that's not you, Brandon. That's like, but it is because it's my truth. You can't tell me.
And that's the problem. That's me and my mom's relationship. She's not gonna accept my truth.
My mom doesn't.
But I still love her. I love her to death.
But at the end of the day, just get to a certain point where it's your truth, and they don't have to accept it. But it can't be a space where I'm telling you my truth. And now I absolutely need you to accept my truth. You can't wait for that day because it may never come.
I need that from everyone. If it's like I can't until you accept it, I can't get off it.
And that's where the self-love comes in and other aspects because you shouldn't need nobody to validate your truth. It's your understanding.
But I do. I need you to understand.
And that's why it's important that I'm saying that you don't need therapy. I think it would benefit you though. Just like I think it would benefit you. It's like a half and half out.
Don't tell me to go to church.
I can tell you. You can choose to do what you want to do, right?
Unless your pastor is black, okay, and he's not making me pay for vans and things that don't matter. I'll pay my 10% is a little steep, bro, because I got hella kids. So he got to understand. God got to understand what's going on, bro.
But you also understand that he's blessing you with more. So 10% is the bare minimum.
See, but you know what? Okay, you go to church. Answer me this. What if you don't have 10%? What about the homeless people who go to church? What if they don't have 10%?
Then he knows your heart. And he knows what you want to give. And
but the pastor I used to go to, he would kind of make you believe, like, if I give you my last, I need to wait for God. He'll show up. Just wait.
Yeah, because he's saying that right now, you're in your head and your worldly thoughts are saying it's your last, but you don't know what God has on the way for you.
But I can't afford to gamble with that.
So right now you're thinking like, hey, I can't give you my last right because the electricity bill comes up. But on Sunday I give you my last electricity bill is due on Monday. How you know that he won't give you an extension on Monday?
How do I know that he will?
Because it's called faith. So you want me to play with it? It's faith-based. You're leading by faith.
I feel like
you really believe in your heart that we'll be successful through Young Legacy, right? Where does that come from?
Knowing the work we're putting in.
Yeah, but all work without faith is dead.
Did I say that to you the other day?
It's a Bible scripture.
I said that in the barbershop.
So, but yes, it's we can work all we want to, right? But if we don't believe, it doesn't matter.
But I've talked to my mom about this. She said, well, if you don't have 10%, then don't give it.
I'm pretty sure you don't necessarily have to. You give what you can. He also said in the church that I go to, when the pastor is white, he states that you ask God what you should give, and he'll put it on your heart to what you should.
I feel like white Christianity is different than black Christianity. I think that's why I'm so heavy on a black.
I don't have a. You're also probably the same person that also believes in like black love is black love, right?
No.
You should love who you want, right?
Yeah. Well, and
okay. All right, go ahead. Give it to me. Give it to me so I can dunk on your ass right now.
I can't say that. I don't do I want my children to marry black people? I don't. Let me look. Can you zoom in? I don't want my daughters to marry anyone. But my son, I don't give a damn. He likes Indian girls, actually. So I don't care. I ain't got to sleep with him, so I don't care. But I mean, I'm not gonna go far and say you love anybody. We're not gonna say that.
This is my thoughts, right? I get the third degree, especially coming from where I come from, how I grew up, right? I welcome my daughter to love whoever loves her the way she deserves to be loved, whether that's whatever race or whatever gender.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna do it.
I am. That's just where I'm at.
Gonna do it.
If you ask my preference to what I think I will want her to marry, obviously I will want her to marry a man. But if my daughter one day just come home and says, "Hey, I love this woman," right? What I'm gonna say, get the fuck out, get out.
No, I'm not saying that, but no. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I've had conversations with people and say, you can do what you want. I'm not against homosexuality or any of that,
right?
But that doesn't mean I have to accept it. And I feel like that's like I don't. You do it, and that's great. I love that you love it,
right?
I don't have to accept it in my home.
Okay, that's correct. But now we're bringing it back to not feeling like you're ever been accepted as a Lombard because you're a Pitts.
No.
Yeah, that's because you're saying your daughter can love whoever she wants to love, and you can do what you want to do.
Zoom in.
But I
don't want my daughter to love anyone. but me.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay? She can live in my house forever, and that's it. So all you nasty ass little boys, she's not available. Neither of them. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but like I said, for me, that's just my thought process. And I had to learn that from being, bro, we grow up in our household so homophobic.
I didn't. My parents are homophobic.
Yeah, I don't. Let me break this down real quick.
They don't like that it's being shoved down.
No. No one likes that,
Okay.
right? No one likes that. But check this out. They're pushing a narrative that everybody's not for, and when you don't agree with it, that means you're against it. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I'm just like Boosie said, I'm just pro heterosexual. I'm pro my kids being with the opposite sex, not the same sex. That doesn't mean I'm anti anything. But I will say this. For me, it's very valuable for us to be able to find a level of understanding because our kids want to be loved and accepted for who they are. The moment you feel like they're not being loved or accepted for who they are, then they're going to pretend to be somebody that's acceptable to you, and then they're not being themselves. So that's the problem because all of us do that. All of us do things.
What does that have to do with?
What do you mean? Because if your daughter loves a girl, my daughter loves a girl, right? And I'm supposed to hey, I accept that for you. I love that for you out there. But in here, no.
But that's like saying, okay, so there's two.
No, I'm not saying you about to be, whether you're a boy or a girl, right? You're not about to be playing house in my house regardless.
Okay.
So I'm not making this a lesbian thing or a gay thing. I'm making this if you're a boy and you like girls and you want to have your girlfriend come over here, guess what? That motherfucking theater room, y'all about to sit there and watch a movie together. This door about to be open the whole time.
But what happens when they get older? Like, there's situations where, like, let's say your daughter moves out of state.
Right.
And she comes to visit you with her significant other.
Right.
And they're married.
Right.
Do they get a hotel? Or
do
you walk in the room and see
no. I think there's a certain respecting factor with that, right? Because like I said, I didn't stay at Becca's mom's house, right? Christmas Eve, whatever the case may be, and we got a kid together. We've been together 15 years, and we're laid up just like anything else. When I was a kid in my mom's house or whatever the case may be, and I wanted to get some ass, I snuck and got some ass. So it's the same thing if I have my wife. I'm going to damn near sneak and get some ass because I'm still trying to be respectful to their house. I'm not going to be willingly in there slapping ass, say my name and shit. Like, no, that's not happening. I'm going to be respectful to their home. But
would the feeling be different if you walked in and seen heterosexual sex or homosexual?
Well, first and foremost, you should be knocking on every door you walk in. Well, your house or not.
Shit, nigga, this is my house.
Yeah, see,
ain't even no locks in my house. You don't get a lock.
That's a privacy thing, though.
But you don't get it. I'm not, bruh. I own it.
I could be in a room and my mother-in-law walks in while I'm getting out the shower. I'm changing my clothes, and she
don't own the house.
It's her house.
Well,
I'm in her house.
Then get dressed in a bathroom.
That's wild.
The hell?
See,
I'm not knocking on.
This is where the ignorance comes in. That's
nigga, I'm not knocking on my door.
It was a matter of time before the ignorance came out. That's wild.
I'm not doing it.
That's wild.
I'm not doing it. Hey, this is my house.
So when you lived at your mom's house, and you're getting dressed, you just letting her she just walk in there and you just ass naked and you just like, it is what it is? Or
fortunately that she never saw that thing swing. Fortunately. But I don't remember. She probably going to fry me for this. But I don't remember her knocking. But again, that's not something I even thought about.
I understand also Ari doesn't have to knock because she's before she even gets to your room. Brandon.
Oh, you said.
I know, right? I got it down, huh? She'll say your name so you know she coming. Like, I'm changing. You're going to yell through the door. So it probably didn't always come down to a knock, but you alerted her and warned her that
I changed in the bathroom, though, so I never...
Not all the time. I didn't came to your house a couple times and you've been in your room changing.
Nah, you know why? Because she wouldn't let me use the downstairs bathroom. So I just changed up. I took my clothes upstairs.
Okay. But for certain people, I just feel like it's just tomato for certain people. But me personally... I'm going to always respect somebody's privacy, whatever age they are. My mom and them had kids and weren't married yet, and my grandma made them sleep in separate rooms. But now...
That's out of pocket.
But now, my grandma, when Becca comes over to my house, we get to sleep in the same room. I'm pretty sure she does not agree with it, but she hasn't said anything. So it's like, I could be like, oh, well, be respectful. It's like, well, are you guys having sex in her house? And I was like, You just snuck it in. I'm not gonna lie to you, Grandma. I'm like, all right, I ain't trying to be no liar in here, but yeah, but it's like it's all about just being respectful. But you could, but what if having sex in their house is being disrespectful? Well, I guess you might want to get a hotel all the time. Then that's gonna be very expensive. I'm not doing that.
See, I think that would be the conversation. Like if you're, I guess it's both ways. I don't want to hear my son clapping cheeks in the next room. I don't care how old you are. That's nasty.
That's what I'm saying. I'm most of the time when y'all done been in the same household or something with other family members, you're not actively going buck wild. She's going to be mindful that, hey, your mom is in the next room.
She might be.
Whatever.
It's my mom's house.
Anyway.
It's my mom's house.
Anyway, just being mindful about just certain ways and how we handle things and go about things is just what I want us to just be mindful of, because we just don't have the same, like you said, thought process. You always talk about perspective, right? We have different vantage points for all people, right? Some people that are raised this way, that way. And I just feel like it just makes it very difficult for people if we're trying to fit everybody into the same box, because it's not going to happen. Because we hung together every day, but we had two different households. And you knew it, because everybody knew my household was the household to kick it to. And we also knew that was the house where everything was like cracking at too. Where motherfuckers was hearing people get their ass whooped through the outside window. You feel me?
I've actually turned around hearing Ray Sean getting his ass. I was like, I'm just go back home. Yeah. It's rough over there. That's crazy, because I'll be telling like my wife, I'm like, my house was like a fucking museum. Like niggas did not come to my house.
It's facts.
They came to the door.
Certain people.
I remember when you first came over, you was like, damn, nigga, what the fuck?
Can't touch. Know how everybody got that household, that black household. Everybody can't go in that one room. His mama had that one room. As soon as you walked in the door, you couldn't touch nobody. I never seen nobody sit in there.
That's a fact.
So it's like it was just one of them situations. My mom and them tried to have that, but our shit was so chaotic. It was so many people over there that shit.
But your mom was hella inviting,
but hella mean.
She was never.
Boy, she used to get people. She'd be quick to like, you musty, get your ass out of my house.
She never did that to me.
Because you weren't musty.
She never kicked me out.
But you did some like outside, like most people that came from outside and inside.
I mean,
we all did.
Did you have? Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm not.
You leave with you, nigga. Why you want to leave with me, nigga?
He's like, so I'm the only one that smell like outside. Nah,
she never really. Saying. She treated me like a son.
She treated everybody like a son. That's why she calls everybody her kids. And I'd be like, Mom, you can still, just because you feel that way, it's still, you gotta understand. Some people, mom might feel a certain way. Like you can't be calling their kids your kids. You're like, you ain't take care of them. But when they came to the house, they did. Like, well, you have a different, like you and Zaire have a different type of.
Yeah.
You know, to say that, because you guys actually came and stayed at night at my house. And you
stayed over there at your house for a week.
Morning till night. You didn't hurt us all get our ass whooped. You didn't hurt us get cussed out. You didn't got your ass put on the curb and talk shit too. Like, we all did that.
Remember when we broke your bed?
When you and Rayshawn broke the bed, because y'all niggas was wrestling. So, yeah. But it's been hella times where.
4 Bob the Builders in that motherfucker.
Hella drill, bro, I'm telling you, 1903 Crown Peak Way, talking about legacy, that house is legendary, man. There's been a lot of shit that went down there. Fights, dice games, parties, hella shit.
That was a spot.
That
was really, literally.
But when somebody came over that don't know me, they be like, look at this dude. He's hella privileged, right? Pool, trampoline, all this shit, right? Pool table in the garage, all the shit.
Said you had everything. You had motorcycles.
We did.
You had the mini bikes.
So for other people, they'd be like, you're not from struggle. You're not from pain. I was like, it looks good on the outside. Just like a lot of luxurious, ghetto, fabulous, broke niggas. But we had, in regards to materialistic things, but in regards to a lot of love being showed, like consistently, there was a lot of stuff going on that most people don't know. And that's one thing we'll probably be able to get into next episode. Just talking about the traumas that we all face and how they still linger and stay with us, right? So, I mean, I feel like I don't really play victim to anything. I just acknowledge my truth, and I don't run from it. A lot of the times I'm very people-pleasing, so I try not to say shit to certain people. But I can, and it's also hard, too, when people don't accept it, right? My dad would never accept at one point in time he was living in a house and I was helping pay a mortgage. He will never accept that. No, you didn't do that. Yeah, all right, bet. I didn't do that because I was giving the money to the other person that was doing something, my mom. And she will never acknowledge that accountability for her, even though she
That
tried.
doesn't piss you off? That
Even though
would
she
piss
tried,
me off.
she didn't do her best. And I can acknowledge that you gave up at one point where it was a time where you guys stayed in a room and didn't come out. And I had to raise my brothers by myself.
I remember that.
So there was a time where it's like, where your parents at? In a room?
I remember that walk up the stairs, that look to the right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Motherfuckers in there just laying down. And like everything they did, like I tried to cause myself to do none of that, right? In our household, when motherfuckers wanted something, bring me the remote. Bring me a cup of water.
Come on, that's regular. I tell my daughter to bring me the remote.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it's like it got to a point where everybody yelled in my household. So when I moved to Oregon for 8 years, I controlled my environment. There wasn't too much yelling. It was very peaceful.
I mean, but is that yelling? If you tell you got to yell upstairs for someone to get you,
or you can walk downstairs and tell them
Bruh.
to get you that.
Okay, so here's the perspective thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's just yelling.
It's not. But when everybody talks and when everybody yells in your house to talk, do anybody know how to talk normal?
Is that really yelling? If I gotta yell, okay, you've been in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I have to yell for you to hear me upstairs.
Or you can walk upstairs and talk to them.
But if I need, okay, here we go. That's not efficiency. If you're up there, why would I walk up the stairs? And
okay, but if that's a sometimes thing, not an all the time thing, this is the all the time thing.
I think you have a bad outlook on like yelling. I don't think that's yelling. I think that's just like, hey, can you come? It's like if you work in a warehouse.
No, because I have a great perspective on yelling because I heard a lot.
Yeah, but that's not like I think there's a difference between yelling in a malice intent.
No.
And, hey, bring me this, bring me that.
Because if you're always demand, now your kids feel like maids.
Oh, stop. Like, what?
Hey, bro. Because it didn't really happen to you that much, you wouldn't understand. But I
mean, I got the remote like everybody else.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for everything, though. For everything.
I mean, define everything.
I just said, hey, I need a cup of water. Go give me some cup of water and ice. Go give me a plate of food.
Go
warm me up some garlic noodles. Go give me this. Go give me that.
Okay, so I think if we change I want some garlic noodles. I think if we change the verbiage, like, hey, because I think in our house we say, can you? And then if we get the pushback, that's when it gets to.
No, it wasn't really no. It wasn't really like questions.
So is it different if it's like, can
statements.
You? My wife's pretty good at that. Like, hey, can you go do? But then if you,
hey, but I'm gonna keep it 1,000 right now, right? She can ask you the politest way 100 times, but she's always asking you to do something. Like, bro, do your legs not work? Don't act like they don't, bro. I'm not
just
about
saying,
to do
okay,
that to
yeah,
you, but don't act stupid. Like, we're being real and authentic on this podcast.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
But if it's, I think I like the word efficiency. If it's more efficient for you to get it.
Yeah, for me to
remember
get it.
yesterday when you were sitting on my couch and I said, can you give me my phone?
I was sitting on your wife's and your couch. Yes, correct.
What the fuck?
You said my couch.
Okay, what the fuck? It's me and you.
You're not the only owner.
I don't give a fuck.
She's gonna see this and she's gonna hear this, so I need to make sure.
Fuck. Okay, whatever. Our couch. Damn, nigga, like that was not even anyway.
I know. I just wanted you to do it.
She was sitting on the right. You were sitting on the left, which meant I was in the middle.
I was closer to your phone.
Right.
Correct.
So it's efficient for you to get it instead of me because you're closer.
Yeah.
So if my kid is downstairs by the water and I'm upstairs and I'm pretty parched, it's more efficient for you to just get it.
That one time, yes. But
I mean, it can happen several times.
If it happens all the time, then it's a habit, and you're just lazy.
Well, no, I could just be in that place when I get thirsty.
Well, maybe
often.
You need to walk your ass downstairs and get your own water.
It's just water. Like, you can't.
Well, because you're in a place of LaShania and James, and you weren't in the place of Johnny, you don't understand what I'm talking about.
It's just water. Like,
okay.
It ain't like I asked you to build the wall. Nigga, I just asked for some water.
It's deeper than that, but it's all good.
Maybe you're being selfish.
No, I'm not.
Maybe that's
not. How am I being selfish? I did it every time.
But you did it because you were scared.
I did it because I'd have a fucking choice.
You didn't do it joyfully.
It's a dictatorship.
You didn't do it joyfully.
Who the fuck is enthused about going to go wipe down walls and clean tile with toothbrushes?
First of all, now you adding new fucking elements. I said water, nigga. You talking about wiping down walls.
It piles on, bro. So from you.
So it went from water to wiping down walls, nigga.
Yeah, because I'm getting always asked to do things. I'll become the maid of the house instead of your son.
You was wiping walls, nigga?
I was doing a lot more than that. Anyway, we're not going to end on a negative note because I don't feel like it's negative, but I definitely don't want to focus on me being Cinderella in my household. But hey, thank y'all for tuning
You're not
in
cute
to
enough to be
episode.
Cinderella.
Bro, what do you mean? Cinderella
I'm
ain't-
Cinderella.
No, you're not. Thank you for tuning in to episode 1 of Legacy Watch. We will see you guys next time. We'll let Brandon break us out of here.
End it with. All right, bye.
All right, bet.